Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. Great to be with you again. Turbo surging is the topic of the day. I guess is what they call it from everything I've searched online. You guys got a lot of good videos out there on dealing with this. I had this issue come up a while back when I found out that the plenum underneath, the plenum that the tube that goes into the turbo was all mangled and warped from heat. There was a giant hole right on the bottom of that thing, and after I swapped that out, the issue seemed to go away. So I thought it was tied to that, but it's come back. And so when I plug my computer into it and look at the barometric pressure, mass airflow sensor, and the exhaust back pressure sensor, set them all to PSI. They all read 14 point whatever. I'm right here at sea level, which indicates, at least at that point, they're all working, which bugs me because I was hoping to find that one of them was off so I could go after something. But clearly I've got an issue. It's not going away and getting better, even though I hope that it would just go away like it did before. But and normally I don't like going after something when I don't have any proof, but something's got to change. So we're going to go after the exhaust back pressure sensor today. As I understand it, for setting the VGT, the vanes in your turbo that open and close, it looks at the barometric pressure, mass airflow sensor, and the exhaust back pressure sensor to make its decisions. So something is clearly off. Hoping it's not a turbo, which I don't think it is. Turbo is a few years old. I'm just hoping it's not a turbo. So we'll start with the cheap stuff. I bought an exhaust back pressure sensor when it was doing this before, and since the issue went away, I thought about trying to return it, but I just kept it in the console because it's a 6.0, so you need to carry spare sensors around. So in my console currently I have an ICP sensor and a pigtail and exhaust back pressure sensor. That seems odd. Anyway, I just figured out why my windshield washer fluid isn't working. Oh geez. Anyway, the pipe is disconnected. So I have the Forescan tool, and I do a data log of the gauges, the sensors, and I can see the data, but honestly I don't know how it's supposed to operate exactly. So looking at that data, I can't glean too much from it. But maybe what I'll do, if we can get the issue to go away, I'll do another data log, and maybe I'll show you guys how it operates when it's good and how it operates when it's bad. Maybe we can use that for the future to tell you something about how the data is supposed to look. So that sensor there's the air box, coolant. It's right back in there. That's the top of the pigtail. So we're going to zoom out. So we're going to just take the air box off and see if we can't get this done with just doing that. All right, here's a better view. We got the air box out of the way. And that's it right there. So you got the pigtail on top. Supposedly that's a 1 inch, and then below it the pipe is a 9/16. So you want to hold on to the 9/16 while you turn the 1 inch. So we're going to see if we can get in there. Might be tough with the degas bottle above it, but we're going to try. So I am going to try to get the degas bottle just to lay to one side or the other here. So That's interesting. No, there's a washer on both. Thought I was missing a washer. Okay, so got the top hose off. I'm gonna pull that hose too. I think we'll be free to move that. So I got the degas bottle sitting there. Took off just the one hose. Lost a little coolant. You could be a little more thoughtful than I am about it, but that makes it real easy here. So there's the sensor, and we're gonna pull it off and then maybe try to clean out that tube. I did look at this pigtail. It looks like it's in good shape. I don't see any bare copper, any bare wire, so we're gonna hold off on the pigtail. And here's the part number for the new sensor. So I had to go get a 1-inch socket because I thought I had one, and I didn't. I had this though. This is 1 inch, and I went to put it on, and it's not a deep well. What in the world would that be for? It looks almost like it would be I mean, it's got to be something special. It looks like it would be a spark plug socket, except it's 1 inch. I suppose, you know, something's got spark plugs that big, but anyway, so I had to get that. And this is interesting too. This is supposed to be a new sensor. That's how it came out of the bag from the dealer. I'm gonna take a picture of that just in case it doesn't work, so I can get a refund. And so as it turns out, that nut below for me is not a 9/16, it's a 5/8. So I don't know if that's a difference in year, or I really don't know. So I'm gonna hold the bottom nut with the 5/8 while I loosen the sensor with the 1 inch. All right, there's the old one. You can see it's caked pretty good. Well, with any luck, changing this out will fix this compared to the new one. All right, I'm gonna try to get into the tube too with one of these brushes. See which one fits better. One of these. I'm gonna clean them to make sure there's no crap in there. Really hope this fixes this. There's quite a bit of resistance there. Ooh, look at that. Oh yeah, okay. All right, I'm gonna spend a little time cleaning this brush and then try to get as much of the stuff out of here as I can. All right, there's the new sensor in there. Tightened up. I don't know what the torque is on this, but it can't be much. It's a compression fitting. I don't want to go crazy on that. So I got it nice and snug. I'll put the, let's find the pigtail. This looks to be in pretty decent shape. Okay. Trying to get an angle here for you. All right. There's that. Now we just need to put the degas bottle back and then the air box. We got the degas bottle in place, the hose back on. Now let's get these started. We'll get everything started. Let's see. Come on. Mommy. There it is. Hose started. I'll get this hose on. Get it ready to tighten up. Oh, I hope this fixes it. It's such a difficult, it's a difficult symptom to explain too, even in the other videos. I mean, I guess it's well known. If you've experienced it, you know. If you know, you know. But it's just like you start to accelerate and it won't shift, and then it sounds like it's shutting. It sounds like, I mean, you can see on the data that the back pressure goes up, and it just sounds like it's holding itself up, like almost like an engine brake or something. So I was doing it almost constantly before this, so if it improved it, we'll know pretty quickly. Let's see, I'm gonna leave this one off. I'm gonna leave this one off while get the airbox back in. I'll go ahead and tighten this one now. So I think at the end of this I'll update you on some other stuff that I'm working on. There's some exciting stuff coming up for this truck. Some more eye candy. It's functional too, but if you've watched my videos, I like the eye candy. As long as there's, well, it doesn't have to be functional, but I like it to be functional and eye candy. Alright, so I'm going to get the air box. Make sure my connectors are accessible here. Where'd the mass airflow go? There it is. Okay. Everything's out of the way. So I did get some mass airflow sensor cleaner. I'm going to clean that too while I'm here. Let that dry. Airbox is back in. Need to tighten up that clamp, reattach this hose, the keeper, the filter keeper, and mass airflow sensor. Let's do this while I'm here. It's got this little support in the back. Let's look at these contacts. Looks pretty good. I just clean these with the WD-40 contact cleaner too. I use that on my guitars as well for the electronics. One thing I did notice about this new plenum that I put on here, I keep calling it a plenum because I mean a plenum is just a area for air to move through, but I forget what they called it. But it's the piece that sits between the airbox and the turbo. But the baffles, is that the right word? Are more firm than the OEM one. This is a Dorman. I know. Stop laughing. It's a Dorman, but that's what I could find. So see how long it lasts. At least it's not too difficult to mess with. Alright, everything's tight. Tighten it. Right. Gonna need some more coolant because I lost some when I took that apart. Alright, I think we are ready to clean up and start her up, go for a ride and see if we improved anything. Alright, we're all cleaned up and let's go take her for a spin. Honestly, I can't tell anything at this point. It never sounded different to me when I first started it. Telltale is going to be when we get out here on the road. Usually it would be fine as soon as I pulled out. And then when I would get, I don't know, a quarter mile down the road after first, I'd go through the gears, come to the first stop sign, and then pull out. Let's see. I'm afraid. I just want it to work so bad because I'm tired of this issue. If this doesn't help, then we go after the manifold air pressure tube and or sensor. Now it's already doing it. I don't know if you can hear it or not. I'm going to drive it a little and see what happens. That's disappointing. Let's see what it does when it heats up. Soot around in that tube. Got a ton out of there. Oof. And that brush was long enough to get all the way through that tube. I considered taking the tube completely off and cleaning it, but it just connects to the block there. No, it's not good. Well, like I said, I bought this sensor back when I had this issue before, and then it seemed to clear up. Can you hear that? That. Well, on the plus side, I guess I know what it's not. That's one sensor down. Again, I'm just going to keep driving it and see what happens. It doesn't make it undrivable. It's just annoying because, you know, it won't get out of its own way, so you got to be careful when you're pulling out in front of folks. May not, its get up and go may have gotten up on that. I'm going to go on a nice little drive here, though. If you've experienced this, please comment. Let me know what your resolution was. Now I know this sensor's never been replaced, so that was original, or at least since I've owned it, which is many years. I don't think my mechanic has changed it. I don't think I've paid for that before. So the mass airflow, the manifold air pressure sensor, I've never changed. That tube I've never changed. So it's possible that is cracked, dry and cracked. So if it doesn't straighten up, we'll dig into that next. So that's another cheap one. I don't know how much that sensor is. The exhaust back pressure sensor is pretty expensive. I think it was a couple $100. Oh geez, I just considered the condition that sensor was in out of the box. The sensor could be bad. It's still doing it. I don't know how you would know if the sensor's bad, honestly. I think it's a capacitive type sensor, and it gives you a voltage out, but I don't know how you would test that on the bench unless you had some way of altering the air pressure going into it, so you'd have to have some sort of a test fixture. I've checked all of my intercooler hoses and all that. That seemed normal. Maybe it's getting better. Maybe I should just be patient. I should try that for a change. I'll say this too, I've been looking at Cummins swaps. Looking at shops, looking at belt motors, used motors, which Cummins is the best. I think this block is still in good shape. It's just all the knucklehead stuff that goes with it that causes you a bunch of heartache. Maybe I should go ahead and take the time to talk about what else is going on in the shop. My shop is an absolute disaster. The bandsaw's down. I've got a video in the works about that. A starting capacitor, it wouldn't start, it would just sit there and hum. And so I replaced one capacitor. I didn't see that it had a second capacitor. The second capacitor wasn't marked with its value, so I have bought one capacitor on a guess, and that does not seem to be the right one to get it started. So I'm going to order another one and see if we can get that bandsaw going. Otherwise, I'm going to pull that motor and take it to the electric motor shop. We got a few of them here, I guess, locally. Delta, it's funny because I guess it's a saw from the 80s. And currently, the company that is Delta now does not have information back that far, which is not that far back. Which boggles my mind. So all they can find is the the exploded diagrams for the top level saw, and all it shows is the motor number. So I was trying, the motor has a delta number on it for the motor itself, and I was hoping somebody would have an exploded view of that, calling out what value capacitors they were, so I could just get the right one. But I'm having to guess because all of the markings and the labels had just fallen off of the motor. I mean, off of that capacitor. So that's the one video that's in process. And then more exciting for this truck is my wife let me order bumpers for the truck. And man, I tell you, these companies are really proud of these bumpers. And you know, I was looking at like Road Armor and even Ranch Hand, but I mean, man, it's a couple thousand. I mean, for the Road Armor, you know, $3,000, $3,500 just for one, just for the front. So I found Move bumpers where they send it to you in a kit. You weld it together. So got the front and the rear bumper with 2 lights in each bumper. I got a winch mount for the front, and I got steps for the rear to get up into the bed. So I think they're going to look pretty cool. I am no expert welder, as you've seen in my videos, but I'm going to do it anyway, and gnarly welding might add to the look anyway, so that's what we're going to do. So they're here. The bumpers are here and the lights, so I got everything I need to get started, and I was going to try to remedy this turbo issue before I started messing with the bumpers. So that's exciting for me. Hopefully you guys look forward to that. I see a lot of videos out there on building these bumpers, and I like them. I like those videos. So I'm going to do them, and I haven't decided if I'm going to finish them with a bed liner or the same paint I used on my what do you call it, fender flares. And as I'm talking to you guys now, I'm pretty sure I just need to do the same paint as the fender flares. That'll look the best. So that's what I'll do. The problem with that is the bed liner would cover my bad welding better than the paint, but I'm not going to have too much heartache about it. I'm going to do it the best I can, and it'll look the way it looks, and it'll still be cool. So that's what's upcoming. All right, I am going to go after this hose, see what condition it's in. I'm going to turn your... So it sits right under, here's the AC stuff, sits right under here, that hose right there. That hose travels down to the top of the valve cover right there with a spring clip on either side. I'm going to undo that spring clip so that the hose will be free, and maybe pull these 3 off and just pull the whole thing out to look at. Oh man, you definitely got to be comfortable just laying on top of a motor. You need one of those cool creepers. Or you can lay on top. Let's see. Pinch these. Come on, baby. Get my light so I can see. Jeez, why is this turbo got to be so hot? There we go. Okay. There's one clamp. I'm going to pull this plate that it's on and just get the whole thing up here so I can look at it easier. there's the sensor. Sit on that plate. And then here's the hose. And it's definitely very rigid. Like it's very old. And it, oh man, I can't squeeze it at all. And it does look to be a little worse for the wear. Let me see if I can zoom in. You can see that there's some cracks in there. Is that enough to cause a problem? This kind of thing just bugs me to death because I'm not seeing a smoking gun, you know. And then, like, should I just replace this sensor too, so I know I got a good sensor? I don't know how much this one costs. I'm gonna go see how much it costs. All right, I got the new sensor, the new map sensor from Ford. Talked to a couple good guys down there. Both of them have 6 liters. They said I was on the right track, but they said eventually it might actually be the union ring on the VGT on the turbo. So they said try this, since I've already done the exhaust back pressure sensor. Do this, and then the next step would be, they suggested that they mentioned the connector on the VGT, that sits on, you know, the connector you can see right there on the turbo. He said sometimes that doesn't make good connection. He said the one guy said he changes that anytime he touches the turbo, just because it gets vibrated so much. So I'll keep that in mind. And then the next thing would be to pull the turbo and just clean the living mess out of everything and just get it looking new again. So I am going to do this. I got this is the old sensor. I'm going to replace that with the new sensor. It's the part. Also expensive from Motorcraft, but I don't want to mess around with this stuff. It's lasted this long, maybe it'll last at least that long again. And then a replacement for the hose. This one's bendy, I can bend it, so this one is very, very rigid and cracked. I don't know, we're going to find out. So I'm going to cut this to the right size. Got a little 18-inch piece of this that they had back on the shelf, instead of him having to go to the back. So that worked out pretty good. Oh, I got windshield wipers here that I need to put on there. Make sure I don't undercut this here. All right. Cut it a little long just in case I measured that wrong. And we'll get these clips off of here. I need to get the wire loom on there. Yeah, the one guy down there had a Powerstroke shirt on at the Ford place, and I said, I got one of those. And he goes, I have two, so I understand all the pain. So that was nice. It was nice talking to them. The one guy has a, I need to go back and introduce myself and see if they have YouTube channels, because the one guy was going to, he was about to pull his motor, and they were going to build it for at least 800 horsepower. And I asked him, I said, so you upgrading the transmission? They're like, nope, we're going to send it and see what happens. And if, you know, if they blow it, I guess they'll just fix it. So they seem cool. Anyway, we'll get this sensor off. 2 screws. Shop is a disaster. Thought I had a Phillips head sitting here, but I guess not. These are stars. T20. Looks like it's also got a slot in there if you wanted to use a slot. I'm going to keep this because I don't know that it's bad. And I'm afraid that it won't be bad. And that this isn't going to accomplish me anything. It's ready to go back in. Yeah, other than some seepage. It's not even seepage, it's just... Yeah, it's probably just smooch from something else falling apart. This doesn't look like a Ford one here, though. I didn't replace this, though. Let's get this back in. Remember I mentioned at the beginning of the video, I was sitting here staring at this, and I had the camera set on the motor looking back at me, and I looked over and I said, oh, I see why my windshield washer fluid hasn't been coming out. Ah, there it is. Things hooked up, so let's see if this did anything. Ooh, it's getting hot, boys and girls. Air's been working fine too since I cleaned that coil out. Might have seen the old video, go back and check that out. I think there's some more stuff I could have done to even clean it more. Suggestions by you guys and everything. Appreciate that. Always appreciate the comments. Yeah, talking to the guys at Ford made me worried that I'm just going to end up having to pull the turbo. I haven't done that yet on this truck, so I don't know how much of a pain that is. There it goes again. So it seems like maybe it really is sticking inside that turbo. The turbo is fairly new, I don't know, 5 years or less. They did tell me that there are cleansers that you can spray into the intake there. You know, take the air box off and then spray it into the intake as it's running to try to clean some of it out. Maybe I'll try that first before I go taking it apart. Alright, so it's been a day and the situation has gotten better, but it's not fixed. And I was doing some research, and based on what those dudes at Ford said, I'm going to try one of those foam cleaners just to see. It doesn't seem like it would hurt. It's one of the ones that you inject directly into the turbo there, one of the foaming ones. This one in particular is CRC, intake valve and turbo cleaner. The idea is we are going to disconnect the air intake right here, which is right behind the mass airflow sensor, and the directions say definitely point away from the mass airflow sensor directly into the turbo, which is right there. And we're just going to do this, man. I'm tired of waiting. Let's just see if this helps at all. I'm going to split the intake there, and then go get the ever beautiful Miss Bartholomew to come help. So we got it right in there. Still got a pretty tight seal, and I'm still not in danger of hitting my hand on the fan or anything here. So I'll start it up, let it idle, and then get some help. I'll let you guys read the directions, but basically the idea is to get it to operating temperature, which it already is, and then you hold it slightly above idle. It only mentions a gas motor at 2,000 RPMs, and of course for a diesel that's really high. So I think I'm going to hold it around 1,000, maybe 1,200, and then you empty the can in short bursts, and then once the can's empty, a couple revs, and then it idles for a little bit, and you shut it down, let it soak, and then after some time, then you get it out on the highway and I guess blast it for a little bit. So we'll see what happens. All right, go ahead. All right, so we emptied the can in there, gave it a couple revs, and then let it idle for a minute. We've tried to follow the directions of the can. And then it says let it sit for an hour and then go take it on the highway, so that's what we'll do. All right, it's been an hour and I just started it up. We're gonna go put it on the interstate, and big old blast of smoke came out of the tailpipe when I started it. So, let's see, air conditioning. Hopefully I didn't mess anything else up, but that stuff smells like oven cleaner. And I bet that's exactly what it is. I didn't go look at the ingredients and compare, but if you think about it, that's really what it's doing. It's getting rid of carbon buildup just like an oven cleaner would. I got a friend that has a Mercedes Sprinter van that has the diesel in it, and that's what he I think he actually used oven cleaner. I'm not sure. Anyway, we're gonna run it, get it on the interstate, go up an exit or two, and then come on back and see what this does over the next few days. All right, just got back from that test drive after using that foaming cleaner, and it's still doing it. It's stuck numerous times on the interstate. I don't know. I got a bad feeling that I'm going to end up having to pull that turbo and clean it, tear it apart, or get a new turbo. I'm not sure if that's under warranty still or not. Anyway, we'll see. I'm going to drive it around and see how things go over the next few days and put together a strategy. All right, so I think we're getting toward the end of this whole episode. I was frustrated with the test drive after I did the cleaning, the turbo cleaning. If anything, when I got on the interstate, it seemed to be worse. So I just put it aside yesterday afternoon and just relaxed. And then got up this morning, drove to work, and not even a single hiccup. Lunchtime, not a hiccup. Driving around now, it seems completely happy. So what fixed it? I don't know. You tell me. We did the cleaning, we did the exhaust back pressure sensor, we did the manifold air pressure sensor, and that tube that goes to the map sensor. Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, I'm collecting data right now with ForeScan, and I'm just recreating the trip I took to the grocery store so that the data stream looks similar, to see if we can determine if we can tell the difference when it's running good and running bad, and see if we can tell what went wrong and what else there is to glean from that data. So I thought we'd take a quick look at this data before I close this video out. So I'm inside Thaddeus Bartholomew headquarters. The old truck out there. It's been running good. Many days have gone by now, and no problems. So looking at this data, I don't know, maybe you guys can help, but I don't know that it tells me why. It shows what happened, but not really why. If I get real close here, you've got green is barometric, blue is map, and pink is exhaust back pressure. And then this is VGT. And what is that red up there? I don't know what that is, but I was just noticing that first little blip. I figure out what that is, because there's a blip there with the VGT. But this was that trip. So this is with it idling, and we're at sea level, so barometer is 14.6, which is sea level, and it's idling, so the map and the exhaust back pressure sensor are a little bit higher, a little over 15. Those two do track each other right here as we increase the RPM. Oh, that's what it is. Top one's RPM. So this is just a little press the gas pedal just over. So this is starting to go down the street, and as we accelerate And the yellow down there, you can see the VGT dropping. This is probably this little section here of idling is sitting at the stop sign, and then this is the next acceleration where it started going wonky. You can see the map and the exhaust back pressure sensor are tracking, and then the VGT just drops, closes, I guess is what that means, down to 15%, closes, which is what was which was the issue. So it shows that it happened, but I really don't know that this tells us why anything happened, because if it was stuck, you wouldn't see, if the vanes were stuck, I don't think you would see all this fluctuation unless they were just sticky and not stuck. I don't know. This is an interesting section of the VGT, the yellow down with that sawtooth. That's interesting, and I don't know, to me that almost speaks of an electrical problem and maybe not a physical problem. Anyway, this is when it was bad. Let me bring up the one where it's good. All right, so here's when things are operating normally. See start up on the left hand side there. VGT in yellow at the bottom. Minor fluctuations, 77% looks like the high. Drops down under, not a lot of acceleration, light acceleration. And then the map and the exhaust back pressure track. I think they should. Not exactly, but should track. And then you can see that that sawtooth is not there, although maybe it's there, it's just not as pronounced. Anyway, if you guys have any take on what this data looks like, please put it in the comments. So with that, I'm going to sign off on this one. And we got there. I'm not sure. I mean, I guess the foaming cleaner helped. Maybe all of it helped. Not sure. But we got there. Hopefully this helps you as you troubleshoot similar issues. And again, if you have any input, please, I'd love to hear it in the comments. We got there. It's still running good, and until it doesn't, and then we'll have more content. I am getting ready to start working on those bumpers, so that'll be cool. We got the bandsaw still down. I'm trying to learn some theory behind sizing those caps, since I don't know what size the capacitors are. And we got to get this whole area cleaned off before I start working on the bumpers. Anyway, thanks for tuning in. Appreciate you, and hope that you're blessed, you and your families, everybody that you know and love. And have a great day. We'll see you on the next one. Take care. Bye.